When I hear more squad cars on the street, more police force, hiring more of a police force, it just sounds like extinction. You know, there's even something in the police training that seems to profile. There's something in the culture of policing that seems to target. Um, there's a systematic disadvantage, with the way that the indigenous community are policed. So the trust needs to be built between the authority and the community. To a degree, there needs to be some trust. Needs to be a feeling of safety. That feeling of safety will make people not feel as if though they have to take matters into their own hands, and that's the irresponsible part. We're living in a civilized society. It's not early America. It's not Wild Wild West. There's too much structure and system around us for us to feel that naked, that the gun-toting and the preparation is at an all-time high. That's why I asked somebody, are we in a state of fear? Like, what state are we in that the go-to solution is, I gotta have something on me? And then there's a standing down. There's a maturity. There's a responsibility. The one that's holding a firearm should not be looking to use it. I mean, that should be the last resort. And it just seems like that's the first option. It's the first resort, and things are triggered. It's just a trigger domino effect. Somehow, that just cause and effect, has rippled out of control.
Well, to your point, what we have to appreciate, and I use the word appreciation here provocatively, is that criminal justice at this point in time is a system. So we have the ideal of this protect and serve when it comes to law enforcement, but we don't necessarily accept the word and what it means. So the job of a police officer is to enforce the law. That is their job, and that is what they do. It's not necessarily their job to interpret law. It's not necessarily their job to determine what is right and what is wrong. It is more so their job that they are given a book of laws that they are told, okay, go out and enforce these against anyone who is breaking these laws. So in order to heal this, it doesn't start at that level. You see, we have the Senate, we have congressmen that are developing these laws that we have here in our country, and then these laws that Congress and Senate that they are developing. Now, these laws are then interpreted by lawyers, and then lawyers present their interpretations of these laws that Congress and Senate are put into place to judges, and then judges decide on the interpretation of law on an individual case basis. So it's an entire system, and this system, unfortunately, as blind as the law is meant to be, meaning as unbiased as the judgment of law is meant to be in the court system, well, it still does not negate the fact that we live in a capitalistic society. So even though the laws are meant to be judged on in an unbiased way, we cannot negate the fact that this is a capitalistic country, and capitalism will motivate certain areas of law, or they will motivate how certain laws are interpreted, enforced, and judged and decided on. And when we look at the fact that we have we have people that are giving reverence in our society, and for being involved in the criminal justice system on whatever level, and then they are dependent upon that in order to provide for themselves, to provide for their families, in order to maintain the stature and reverence that they have. Well, then at that point in time, the individual who is breaking the law is not necessarily seen as purely a citizen of the country, but now this person is a product that is utilized in order to produce capital, to maintain a system, and to maintain reverence and stature of individuals. So then that has to continue. We cannot have a shortage of people who are breaking law, for if we do, all of those that are dependent upon the criminal justice system will no longer be able to provide for themselves properly, and this in turn can affect portions of economy itself. So in order to address this properly, it cannot be done on a ground level in the interaction between the law enforcer and the individual who is claimed or alleged to have broken a law. It has to be dealt with on the level of Congress and the Senate and the laws that they are voting for to be passed. The people have to be active at that level in order to combat it properly, so that it trickles down to the individual that is on the street or being pulled over in the car or whatever the circumstance might be.